The Judge Judy show altered the format of court television programs. Judge Judy herself vanished after 25 years as the top court show on television. Judge Judy, however, continued to work. She made a fresh start and started something entirely different. You'll be amazed at where she is today and what she has created. Judith Sheindlin, who would go on to become the well-known judge of Judge Judy, noticed something in February 1993. She never imagined that what she saw would have such a profound impact on her life. Judy became a lawyer in 1965 after passing the New York State Bar exam. She immediately started working for a large corporation as a lawyer for a cosmetics company. However, there was an issue. After 2 years, she came to the realization that she wasn't satisfied in her job. She gave up and made the decision to dedicate all of her time to taking Adam and Jamie take care of the children. She then made the decision that it was time to return to work in 1972. However, she wants something that would not upset her, but rather make her feel happy. She chose to apply after hearing from a friend about a position bringing offenders to court in the New York family court system. Judy got the job because she was so impressive. Judy quickly rose to fame, and her tough-minded approach to the situation caused Ed Ko offer her a position as a judge in the criminal court in 1982. She was promoted to the position of chief judge of the Manhattan portion of the family court by 1986. She was known for administering justice in a severe and occasionally cruel manner. Judy, however, insisted that was untrue. However, it was her fashion sense that brought her fame. And Heidi Gitlin asked her husband Josh to write about her because of her fame. In an article about Judy, Josh, a writer for the Los Angeles Times, described her as a woman who wished to use the legal system to the benefit of all. That tale did. Judy did a great deal of good since it made her more visible to Kay Switzer and Sandy Spreeman, who were employed by the talent-finding firm Rebel Entertainment. Judy was brought to CBS, and she was featured on a segment of CBS's 60 Minutes. On the show, Judy was adored by the audience, and she soon rose to national fame. Judy made the decision to profit from her popularity after realizing how widespread it had gone. Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining is the novel she authored. After hearing more than 20,000 cases, Judy resigned as a family court judge in 1996. People were unaware that Judy had a cause for quitting her work. Her appearance on CBS's 60 Minutes left viewers wanting more. Rebel Entertainment came up with a show concept similar to People's Court and shared it with CBS. Judy was requested to serve as the judge of the court program that would bear her name because they thought it was a great concept. Yes, she replied, although she wasn't pleased with the show. She and her bailiff didn't get along. She desired another person, but who was it? Judy picked up her phone because she remembered someone. Hawkins Bird enjoyed a new narrative regarding Judy's book that he read in 1995. In a letter, he informed her that he was prepared to don his uniform again for her in the event that she required a bailiff. Before she had even finished speaking, he knew what he would say when his phone rang. Judge Judy appeared out of nowhere, and it altered television court shows. Judy and Bird had a great rapport. He was the sober bailiff who remained detached from the cases. People in the courtroom fell in love with him because he was a solid person who kept things peaceful when others wanted to quarrel. As each case was ready to begin, his words, "Order all rise," always delighted his fans. Judge Judy was more than simply the most watched court show with that kind of collaboration. It was among the most watched programs ever. Although it's unfortunate how things turned out between Bird and Judy, we'll discuss that later. 9 to 10 million people watched Judge Judy every day on average. It even outperformed Oprah's ratings. Winfrey's show at various periods as well. The show had the greatest rating of any daytime TV program at one point. What made it the most watched show? We'll discuss that shortly. The popularity of the show continued to grow. The public's trust in Judge Judy eventually surpassed that of all the Supreme Court justices in the United States. However, the audience did not view Judy as merely another judge. She was regarded by them as one of the greatest pop culture icons in history. Judge Judy was frequently mentioned by shows looking to increase their viewership. However, despite the popularity of the show, it was still not receiving any daytime Emmy awards. Judy, however, continued to receive accolades and awards from other sources despite this. In February 2006, Judy received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and was hired for cable and television. Hall of Fame in October 2012, she continued to receive accolades, including one from the UCD Law Society's vice president in April 2013. Judy, however, wasn't pleased. She sought a prize for her show. She became anxious, but she had to remind herself that the award-winning shows were canceled or shut down. However, despite their defeat, Judge Judy continued to draw large audiences and appeared to have no end in sight. However, something significant occurred in 2013. Judge Judy was selected 15 times before winning its first Emmy. Additionally, this made it possible for the show to win additional honors. In 2016 and 2017, it took home another Emmy. Judy herself continued to get honors, and at the 2014 Heroes of Hollywood, she was given the Hollywood Chamber Communities Foundation's Mary Pickford Award. However, Judy believes that her Guinness World Records may be her greatest accomplishment. September 14, 2015, as the longest-running courtroom show and the longest-serving judge or decision-maker in the history of courtroom-themed television programs. Judge Judy was earning a lot of money from the show in addition to the prizes she received. Newspapers covered her earnings because they were so high. She made about $25 million a year at the beginning of 2005. Her net worth increased to $95 million as a result, and she rose to the 13th position on Forbes' list of the 20 wealthiest women in entertainment. However, not everyone was fond of her wealth. Her earning that much was viewed by some as unfair. Additionally, judges who performed routine court duties were paid far less. There were other negative remarks made against Judge Judy, but those will be covered in more detail later. Judy was exhausted despite her wealth, but she relished her work and the influence she had over the audience. She so became even more enjoying her work when the TV studio decided to increase her pay to $45 million annually. Even though the audience still enjoyed the play, there was something about this rise, and that pleased them. They would love to see anything like what Judy provided in the actual legal system. People in court were wanted by those who watched. Justice quick, but without the lengthy appeals, complicated paperwork, waiting, or lawyers interfering. Because of her decades of expertise in family court, fans praised her intelligence and dubbed her a human lie detector. They saw Judy as a true justice warrior who used a last kind of speech to vanquish evildoers. However, this was not the case for everyone. Some fans thought Judge Judy wasn't as good a judge as many claimed, even though many praised her early Judge Judy programs for being patient and fair. They have even inquired about the possibility of her losing her legal license. She interrupted. They said, in court, decisions were made before all the facts were heard, or was cruel to specific groups of individuals. These opponents claim that Judy becomes irascible and nasty whenever she has to deal with those who are struggling financially, receiving government assistance, or making little money. However, many were unaware of Judge Judy's issue. Judge's patience with people in court diminished as the seasons progressed, and she became more cruel. Judy didn't take as many breaks as she ought to have since the show was profitable for all parties. Even taking a break would have been impossible for her. The show paid participants to appear in court, and the amount they received may range from $100 to $500, the maximum reward, depending on several factors like how much time they spent on TV. In court, some even received about $250. They received this money after the show offered them a beautiful gift. Because so many people in court allegedly come on the show and stage fights to get paid, people who dislike Judge Judy have said that the show brings drama instead of real stuff. As the people in court kept coming, Judy couldn't rest, and in 2010, she considered stopping. Hollywood hotels with all or nearly all of their costs paid for during filming. Even when Judge Judy gives money awards, the people who lose don't have to pay. The show does that for them. However, her contract was set to expire in 2014. She discussed leaving when her contract expired. However, on March 30, 2011, a horrible incident occurred well before that time. When Judy arrived on the set, everything appeared to be as usual, save for the fact that she was quite exhausted. Judy simply carried on with her day as if nothing had happened. The bailiff called a case as they continued shooting, and Judy was listening to the people when everything went dark. Judy had immediately passed out. She was taken to the hospital in a hurry. After testing her, the physicians discovered that she had suffered a mini stroke. Judy did not give up, though. Rather, she extended her contract, received a rise that year, and was reportedly the highest-paid TV personality. She had such much success that she even earned a spin-off show in 2014, which she named Hot Bench. She was completely unaware of how much trouble this spin-off would cause her. Judy continued to administer justice in her own way, and in 2017, she agreed to a new contract that would keep her employed until 2021. She made $147 million before taxes as a result of the contract, but it also brought about additional issues that we will discuss shortly. With that pay increase, she completely forgot about quitting her job and stated that the only reason she would do so would be if her audience lost interest in her show. She enjoyed her job and was still full of energy, but she had a thought. She started working on how to make her vision a reality, nevertheless, without telling anyone yet. Judy continued to be Judge Judy while she worked on that concept. She also made an announcement in March 2020 that many admirers were afraid to hear. During her appearance on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, she revealed that the show would conclude on the 25th anniversary of its premiere. However, she didn't get the farewell she would have preferred during her final days on the show. Richard Lawrence, the president of Rebel Entertainment Partners Incorporated, filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against CBS television distribution in 2016. He and his business claimed that CBS was attempting to defraud them of the money they earned from the show, particularly when it came to their former employees. I brought Judy to CBS, Switzerland. Rebel claimed that the reason CBS was unable to pay them was because Judy was being overpaid. They also claimed that the show's earnings were lower than what CBS was attempting to portray. Judy became entangled in this tangle of legal proceedings, and the woman who provided justice to others was charged with unfairly stealing from those who assisted her. Because they didn't want to split the revenue with Rebel, Judy and CBS were accused of keeping Rebel in the dark about future spin-off projects. Judy wasn't prepared to be taken advantage of after years of being a severe judge and a strong lawyer. She defended herself against the remarks made about her. Richard was being too avaricious, she said, and unhappy that her show brought well over $17 million. She even accused him of being self-centered, who never called her or came to her for anything after they first met before the show started. She defended her high salary by claiming that it was due to her value to CBS. Was she really contributing that much to CBS? In 2018, the court agreed with her, ruling that Judy was a useful asset and that she was not overpaid. For CBS to own Judy, however, did not escape punishment for everything. According to the court, she and CBS ought to have informed Rebel about any spin-off programs. You should reconsider if you believe the drama was done, because there were a lot more, just like on the Judge Judy program. There will be surprises. Richard and Rebel Entertainment were not pleased with the court's ruling. They made an appeal. However, CBS had had enough of the legal drama. They were eager to finish their court dramas, which they had been performing for years about other people. They therefore approached Rebel Entertainment in 2020 and made a contract with them. Rebel pushed for another lawsuit because they thought they had CBS where they wanted them. They added Judy to the list of people they were suing this time. But enough was enough for her. In addition to refusing to negotiate with Rebel, she filed a $22 million lawsuit against them. They claimed that their business methods were unfair. The fight had begun, but Judy encountered an obstacle. If she wanted a case, the court ordered her to sue CBS as well. Judy had to decide between two options. She had two options. She could remain loyal to CBS or fight for the money she desired. She lost her case because she opted for loyalty. She was indifferent. The California Court of Appeal, however, concurred with the lower court that there was no breach of contract by CBS. According to the court, CBS was paying Rebel the sum specified in their contract in the manner specified in that agreement. However, it was discovered that Judy was requesting raises in her contract every 3 years. She therefore desired additional work. Despite the fact that she occasionally felt overpowered, she could now relish her victory, but it was short-lived. She had to defend herself against another lawsuit, and this time, former allies turned against her. Judy was sued by Kay Switzer and Jay Robinson, the trustee for Sandy Spreeman, Big Ticket Television, CBS Studios, and CBS Corporation. They claimed that former Rebel Entertainment employees owed money for finding Judy. They said that Judge Judy wouldn't exist if the discovery hadn't been made and she hadn't been brought to CBS later. Judy wasn't concerned because this wouldn't be the first time the two filed a case like this. It was background noise when she phoned the case. In 2021, the court dismissed it without finding a valid basis. Judy was involved in other litigation besides them. Patrice Jones, the spouse of Judge Judy executive producer Randy Duth, in March 2013, sued Judy. She claimed that Judy worked covertly with her husband to purchase pricey knives and exquisite plates that she had. The issue was starting to get messy. Additionally, Judy returned the knives to Randy Duth, who then returned them to his spouse. Judy continued to be involved in a few further disputes. The one from March 2014 is also noteworthy. Judge Judy's image was therefore used in a few advertisements by a lawyer by the name of John Heyman. When the show's producers saw that utilizing Judy's photo was prohibited, they summoned the lawyer right away. However, The attorney ignored this and continued to create advertisements. Judy didn't. As a result, she filed a lawsuit. She stated Heyman and his legal company exploited her picture in television commercials without her permission and made it look like. Judge Judy herself had praised Heyman's legal practice. But Heyman was not going to back down. Additionally, he retaliated by claiming that Judy had made false accusations against him and his business. He said that he just complied with local TV stations' requests to appear in promotional videos for Judge Judy's show. However, nobody saw that he was going to lose and didn't believe it. Heyman sought a bargain with Judy. Judy halted the case, and he donated to her organization. Heyman seemed to have forgotten Judy's toughness. She got to where she is now because of her toughness. Judy wasn't planning to retire after Judge Judy ceased appearing. With all that leisure, what would she do? Rather than taking time off work to spend time with her elder grandchildren, she worked with them to produce something. Judy had a strategy before Judge Judy concluded. Her goal was to develop a brand new courtroom program, a Judge Judy spinoff that would appeal to all age groups and be relatable to the younger ones. Judy Justice was her creation. She chose to work with her granddaughter since she required a younger person's assistance to accomplish that. However, she chose not to perform in the new show with Bailiff Bird in an effort to appeal to a younger audience. She informed Bird that she was unable to cover his salary. Bird was taken aback by this, believing that after spending so much time there, Judy ought to have consulted him before making the choice for him. Despite his pain, Bird decided it was time to move on, but the fans told him it wouldn't be the first time. It was time for Judy to treat Bird in this manner. She held him at bay when the show wasn't filming and never once treated him like a buddy. This didn't bother Bird. However, the show won the first Emmy. He was depressed. He didn't even seat in the same row as Judy. He was seated 20 rows behind her. Additionally, Judy allowed someone else to present the award to her when it was time to do so. When fans realized this, they weren't prepared to tolerate her acting in such a way once more. Fans took note when Judy Justice, the new show, debuted. The man serving as bailiff wasn't their favorite. Judy was chastised for her actions. Then the true cause was revealed. Judy wanted someone who could appeal to the younger generation. Therefore, she refused to let Bird join her on the new show. She nearly infuriated her major fans by doing that. Judy instantly brought Bird back, but with a twist, after realizing her error. She offered him the position of bailiff in Tribunal Justice, another offshoot program. Judge Judy, where are you now? She is even more well-known now than she was before becoming Judy Justice.